I think it's safe to say that what makes a Super Mario game fun is the physics. Manipulating Mario with near analog precision while plummeting through playgrounds that are practically begging to give the player skin and knees is a visceral rush that every gamer knows and loves. Indeed, this concept is instilled into the very cores of our gamer being. Mario is about the ever-present friction of the surrounding environment exerting its force upon the player. There is essentially a fundamental set of natural laws, not too unlike our own, that governs the physics of the Mushroom Kingdom. I sometimes wonder if Shigeru Miyamoto had Newton's laws of motion in mind while fine-tuning Super Mario Bros. Seriously, every single one of Mario's movements along either the X or the Y axis results in some kind of chain reaction regarding his inertia. Most immediately, when and how long the player presses the A button dictates how high Mario jumps. Is the player holding down the B button in order to dash? If so, then Mario's speed and the distance he can jump are significantly affected. From what angle is Mario jumping? Is an enemy airborne? Is a discarded Koopa shell stationary? Or is it a speeding ball of inertia-fueled doom? Is Mario underwater? I find those stages particularly ingenious. The same controls and set of rules apply, but a simple shift in environment completely changes the feel and flow of the game. Through whatever alteration of these very basic and yet thoroughly fundamental actions, an entire run through a level can be drastically different. That, I think, is the real magic of Super Mario Bros. When creating this game, Shigeru Miyamoto created a place, and when visiting this place called the Mushroom Kingdom, one could, quite literally, reach out into this playground and make a connection, a real, physical, frictive connection, and squash a Goomba with their own two thumbs. That physicality of interaction with identifiable consequences is what really made the game so revolutionary. Some might attest that the game's real contributions were to context. By giving the player a character and a place with names, the framework of a narrative was established. There's certainly something to be said for that. The fact that one was playing Mario and not just some stock on-screen avatar was in no small part related to the game's staying power. But I think that Donkey Kong took much larger steps in this area before Super Mario Bros. The most stark difference between the two, and what essentially makes Super Mario Bros. Just so influential, is its changes to physics, specifically the progression from realistic physics to playable physics. For instance, in Donkey Kong, Jumpman will die if he falls too far. He is scaling these towering construction sites, after all. Jumpman was a pretty sprightly guy, but his commendable athleticism had nothing on Super Mario's earth-defying slaps in the face of gravity. It's less realistic, but endlessly more playable. Fireballs, of course, shouldn't operate underwater, but they nonsensically, and yet enjoyably, do. It was because of this unheard-of attention to physical detail coupled with equal attentiveness to playability that the game was and is so important. Like Newton's laws, Super Mario Bros. Built a rigorous foundation of rules that are still being followed today. The game's fundamental and unchanging set of physical laws created a place, but the ability to a certain extent manipulate those laws created a place the players wanted to go to, a place that allowed the freedom and the fun of poking around in. It allowed players to express themselves.